This is the 2024 Las Vegas Raiders Fantasy Preview by Fantasy Football Time. Follow us at Fantasy FB Time on all social media platforms. All right, Raiders, let's take a look. Davante Adams had a 12.5 fantasy point per game average in 2023, with only 213 points under Jimmy Garoppolo. He's even projected less this year. I'm not quite sure as to why. Maybe because they're having to spread it around some more. I think you can draft Davante Adams as a low-end wide receiver 1, maybe a WR2, but he has the ability. But let's see if this team can figure out some plays for Davante. Jakobi Myers, 11.5 fantasy points per game last year. 16 games played, on pace for 195. Forecasted for 122? People are just down on the Raiders this year. Zamir White. He averaged 12 fantasy points per game in the 4 games that he started in place of Josh Jacobs, who exited the end of the season due to injury. He was pacing 204 points if he had played all 17 games, which he did not have that opportunity. This year he's projected 160. Again, I just feel like all the Raiders fantasy projections are lower this year. Going back to Jakobi Myers, WR2 if you're a gambling man. Zamir White, maybe a high-end RB2. I think he has the ability to be an RB1 if they play him right in Las Vegas. Pass on Bowers as your tight end. I did not include Gardner Minshew on here because Gardner Minshew only had something like 200 fantasy points projected. He was doing pretty good on some of these other teams. I am a Gardner Minshew fan. I think that you can potentially stash him as a backup QB. I think he is probably one of your biggest underdogs in the fantasy draft. Regardless, the Raiders have the 19th best O-line. Not great. They have the 10th hardest schedule. Usually you see a little bit more favoritism than this for a team like the Raiders, who did not have a great record last year. So they will have some tough sledding in front of them. So hopefully they can string something together. Maybe this is all why people are down on the projections due to their strengths of schedule. Regardless, they do have some talent. Let's see if they can figure it out. Thank you for watching. Follow and subscribe at Fantasy FB Time on all social media platforms. God bless and happy drafting.